let this catch up with itself. It always takes a little bit of time before excellent. Cool. So that has worked, which is always good. Good afternoon, everyone, on this gloriously beautiful day. Let me just that's where they are. That's always helpful. There we are, there we are, there we are. So we've got lots of little bits out and pieces. I'm a little bit early. Yes, that's a bit mucky, but that's not a problem. So we are going to complete this little book that I have started constructing last week with the Tim Holtz folio journal. Good afternoon, John. Hello, Dee. I'm assuming you can hear me. Okay, I can certainly see myself, but the rest of it is another matter. So last week we did these pages on the inside, little tags to pop in, a little concertina. I'm just doing this while people rub in. We've got a little hidden paper clip there. Might do I might make another one of those today. A little flap for putting whatever. Excuse me, that wasn't a very good look. Another pocket with just a piece of paper tucked into it, and a little folder from the collection with some more bits added into it. So that is cool. So let us tackle. There we are. We're just into 2 o'clock. And did I ink those pages? I did ink those pages. So there we are. So we will be doing a bit of inking going round. And I inked the pages with the corner of the pockets with the pages. Excellent. Good. So we'll do the cover at the end, because why not? Why not? Why not? So this is the reverse. It's always helpful just to make sure you truly have got it up the right way before you do that, because otherwise you end up in a bit of a pickle. Thanks, Dee. Hi, Julian. Thank you for joining us today. I think we might be on a slow day today. Well, very sensibly, as many people should be tucked outside as they possibly can in this weather. It is just glorious. Hi, Sarah. Thank you very much, my darling. And there's an online workshop going on, which again won't help the proceedings in terms of people watching, but that's okay. And I'm still going through this humongous big bottle, Sarah, of glue, but we will get there. We will get there. Just needs to be used, doesn't it? So these are the Stamperia Brocante papers, and I have just measured the size of the page in the folio and then taken off about 1 centimetre, so ½ centimetre all round. So I've got a nice little border to go into there. Let's just pop that into there, and let's do the other side, and then we've got some add-on bits to add to it. Yeah, definitely looks like we're going to be in for a slow ride today, but this needs to be done, so that's all cool. That is okay. There we are. And if anyone's any sense that they are tucked up outside, because it is just glorious. There we are, there we are, there we are. Perhaps I didn't quite measure that evenly, but hey ho. Good, she says, throwing a big bottle of glue on the floor. There we are. Okie dokie. There we are. Just to be difficult, where have you put your stamps that go with the collection? Or did you not? Did I not? I'm sure. Oh no, I just had one stamp set out, didn't I, the other day, rather than making life difficult. Okie dokie dokie. There we are. I remember we didn't have lots of faffing around. We've kept it reasonably simple. So let's just pop that one onto there, little border all round, space for the hinges to work, and let's just give that a little tap dry. Now then, we have some of the folio inserts, so let me just pop that one over there and let's work on this one. We'll do the covers absolutely at the end. Thank you, darling. So I thought we would have the folios as little pages today, so let us just give this a little bit of an ink, and then we'll add, I know what I did, I used the stencil, didn't I? There we are. We used the stencil for our added interest. There we are. A little bit of ink through there, and then let's just pop these pieces on. So I've cut these to fit the flatter edge because it was going to be easier overall, and you know, I'm all for making life easier, and I've just picked areas of the papers that I really quite liked and that would work for nice detail. So we're just going to make this into almost like a page, but we could also have it as a pocket. Excellent. So we will do that. We can have mix these up a little bit, because just because it says a file folder don't mean that that's how it's got to be used, does it? Of course not, of course not, of course not. Let me just see what I did with the other side. Yeah, I did mix up the inking, so let's just and the stamping, so let's just add some of that into there. There we are, as we go. There we are. And then let's just pop that into there, and then we're going to have that partly on display, so let's just add a little bit more into here, just around the edges. It won't all be visible, and that's absolutely fine. There we are. And we'll add a little bit of text up there, up there, down there. A lot of that's going to get covered. Let's just pop a piece across the middle because that area will be visible, and then we are going to add in some more little bits of paper. There we are, and that I think just needs a little smidgen taking off there, because it's, to my eye, just a little bit too big. So let me just smiddle off a little bit of that. That will make that a little bit of a better size, and we'll go from there. So all I'm doing is mixing up my papers, using up the scraps that I have left, and we will convert this into a little page within the book. But we'll need something to help keep it closed, because otherwise it will flap in the concertina, and that might not be such a brilliant look. So there we are. Let's just pop that into there, pop that onto there, let's just straighten that into there. Let's just add a little bit more detail up onto there, and then we can pop this into here, and these pieces will then act quite nicely as places to put little photos or ephemera. I'll see if I can find a nice piece of washi in a minute to drive us all mad by cutting it out. This piece has got enough detail on it, but the plain piece over here is all a bit boring. So let's just find our washi pad that we had. Good afternoon, Sarah Jane. Welcome, Anthony. Hi, Nagia. Sorry if I've pronounced your name wrong. Good afternoon, Sue. Thanking you very much. So let's see what we've got on our pieces of. Oh, that will work. So we've got lots of bits left from. Yeah, so because somehow or other I managed to find myself with two of these, but hey ho. So let's just chop out roughly that piece from there, and then we can cut it out a bit more neatly. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect but the least amount of shadow from the washi tape the better, and then we'll have the usual amount of fun, which will require us to then wig the bit of washi tape out. And again, I want to add an embellishment, but I don't want to add bulk, and this blue here is going to pick up the blue on, there we are, on this side, and link it to the brown. So there is bits of blue in that crackle paper. So there we are. So there we are. So I trust that everyone is well on this. Yeah, certainly in the UK, it is a beautiful. Well, that might be a bit of a generalisation, but it's sort of in Manchester. It's not raining. I know that might come as a surprise, but it's not. It's absolutely glorious. I've got rid of my hoodie even. I don't need that on today because the conservatory acts very much like a greenhouse. There we are. So I'm just wriggling my scissors, wriggling the piece of paper, popping that round, get rid of that. Let's just, perhaps we don't want the knife, perhaps we'll go for the pokey tool that's over there, and then let's just see if we can hoik up an edge of that. There we are. There we are, there we are. So we can then carefully peel that off and pop that onto, oh, well, it would help if I popped it on vaguely upright, wouldn't it? Because really, because lamps don't go on the wobble, do they? Well, you could have them on the wobble. There we are. So quite forgiving, as you've just seen. And do I want anything else to go on there? No, but I was sloppy with my gluing, so let's just pop that into there. There we are. And there are other bits and pieces that we can add into there, but I'm actually going to keep this relatively simple, I think. We might, she says, having been difficult, let's just chop another one, because why not? Why not? Why not? Why not? Why not? Why not? We've got lots of bits. Definitely, you know, don't necessarily want all of it, but there we are. We can add another little bit. I'm going to pop this actually on the other side, and then we're going to stick that into the book, but create a pocket as we do so. But as I say, just because it says it's a file folder doesn't mean that that's what you have to use it as. You do you. But these pre-made pieces just make it uber quick. If you don't want the faff of having to, you know, make a whole album from scratch, which we all know I'm capable of, but actually it just takes time, doesn't it? And sometimes you don't have time, but you want to be creative, and this just allows you to do that. There we are. There we are. Ooh, she says, wiggle wriggle. There we are. And as I say, this washi just does me head in a little bit, because trying to get the edges up is not so easy. But little pick do have nails, fortunately. And we're going to have this sort of floating, but that's okay, because we have a little table there. So let's just pop that onto there, and that can go there. So let's just move those out of the way, put that onto the side, because we've got everything to hand. And then I'm going to stick this into my little book as a pocket. Okay, and it will just fit in. Yeah. There we are. Oops, I didn't want blue there, did I? If I want to add it as a pocket, there we are. It might be slightly difficult to use it as a pocket, but there we are. So that piece can go into there, and we're going to take a paper clip, because that's going to flap and be irritating, she says. she says. Right, so we now need a long strip of paper that we can fold, and as we're on the mission to use up, I don't necessarily want to start it, but it definitely does help to have double-sided pieces. So that right, so I want these pieces to be on the outside, so I'm going to flip this over, okay, because you can chop off. So this is just a scrap of the paper, and I'm just going to pop that into there, okay, and now I can fold that over and that down, okay. So I will have a functional paper clip at the end of this. So I'll just pop a little bit down there, okay, but it won't be visible, so we'll pop that over. We just put glue on the two sides, and let's just give that little bit to grab. Hi Jan, thank you. I went live in a slightly different way today, so maybe that was helpful. I'll try it again next week to see if it does work. And then this piece can go here as well. There we are. And then we'll pop that and give that just a little bit of time for that glue to grab. You're not being well, Sarah Jane. I'm really sorry to hear that. I'm glad you're feeling a bit better today, though. It's nice to hear. Okay. So we now have a little hidden, completely hidden paper clip. I'm just going to take that out of there, and I'm going to just chop in so I've got that like that, and then you can add what you want onto the top of these. Now I don't want a lot of depth onto here because I've not got a lot of room, so that piece can go into there, and that can now sit into there, and it will close those two pieces over. Will I have enough room to concertina that? Just about. Okay. So we've now got a little hidden paper clip, which is what I did with the other one, and then you can add whatever embellishments you want onto the top of that. So we've got on this piece of paper, we actually conveniently have, so this is single-sided paper, so you might just need to be careful about which ones you pick, because when you take it out, it will be the reverse side will be visible. But it's an easy way of adding, just an extra way of adding a closure and helping with what you're doing. So let me have a little look. I think we need a little snippet of paper onto there, just to ground that. That's too big, and this is about just going with the flow. It doesn't have to be. There we are. So we just want, let's just fold that, and then we can cut it better. There we are. So that's folded. Then we can snip, and I'm using remnants. You know, this is all I am doing. I could have added a little bit there. So let's just add that onto there as a little bit of an extra embellishment. There we are. And let's add that little teacup. Not, as I say, I don't want this to be bulky because they're going to be being folded in. So there we are. But it's just a little way of creating something that's just a little bit different. as something that will close that file folder. And I've got a pocket if I want to add anything in, but it's not going to work particularly well because of where we are up to here, but it's still a little bit of extra room. So we have another file folder here because there were lots in the pack. Okay, there we are. Do I want to add it that way, or do I want to add it? I'm going to add it that way. Okay. So let us come back to our stencil, and then let's just add some little extra bits of detail. Oops, take that off the mouse, that would be helpful. There we are. Let's turn that over. Add some extra bits there. Let's just add a little bit in the centre of there. So we're keeping all of our add-ons exactly the same so that the whole piece becomes cohesive. Yeah. There we are. Right. That one's going that way, that's going that way, that's going that way. I like it when plan comes together. Okay. So let's just do, we'll put this one on slightly differently, just so that we're keeping to the same concept all the way through, but just showing lots of variations on how you can just build your pieces together, because that's cool, isn't it? There's my glue. There we are. Hi, Alison. Subtitles are automatically put on by Facebook, I think, so I can't do much about that because they're there for the text, but I've no idea. Yeah, absolutely. The and then then you sometimes just have to laugh at the way Facebook deals with different accents and gives you slightly different feelings. So let's just add something different onto this side. There we are. So we, as I say, we're keeping this all. Click on the live 3 dots. It'll bring out all right. Oh, thank you, Sarah. You live and learn something new every day. I have to say, it doesn't unduly bother me. And I think for people who who don't speak English, you can have them set to your own language. It doesn't have to be in English. So if you are from abroad, I dread to think what some of the translations might end up with, if because we all know that there are some interesting ones when it's converting speech into English, let alone anything other than that. But there we are. There we are. So let's just pop that onto there, because that looks quite nice. And what do we want over there? What are we going to pop over there? That bird is facing the wrong way. Well, we've got another. Actually, I'm going to take the clock. So I'm literally just using what I have, not overly thinking it, but just layering everything together, just so that I'm happy, but building extra interest, extra information, extra visual information. Think of it as an art journal, think of it as a photo book, think of it just as a piece of artwork that you've enjoyed doing. It's entirely yours, isn't it, to do that. There we are. Aha! We have managed to get to the corner. There we are. Let's just pop that piece up onto there. It's not going to give me any extra bulk. It's just adding just an extra layer of detail onto there. Okie dokie. And we're going to pop this piece onto there. And before we do that though, let's just add a little bit of thing. And put your hand in the ink pad and transfer it everywhere. Why not? Why not? Why not? Why not? Why not? Because it's all good. There we are. There we are. Hi Blanche, welcome darling. Yeah, let's go down better into those corners. There we are. We'll pop that onto there. Make time for yourself, and we've got a nice set of words here, so let's just add these because I like the idea of make time for yourself. Seems like a nice thing to do. There we are. And hopefully, yeah, I chopped out the base papers, but that, you know, it doesn't take a lot of time. It just means that on the live you're not struggling seeing me cutting out quite so much gubbins, because there's quite enough to be done as it is, isn't there, with when you're making things like this on a live. So let's just flick that edge off there. Right, let's see if that we will get underneath it eventually. There we are. Wrinkle it up, pop it down, and then let's just pop that across there. Make time for yourself. And I'm going to pop that into here again. Okie dokie. There we are. So these file folders are just a little bit big for the overall piece, which is all very well and good. I'm not going to use that back, but I am going to use that as a pocket. So just because it's one way doesn't matter. You can do it the other way. Yeah. So let's just pop that over there, and let's just make another one of these little pieces. So let's grab a scrap. That will, see, that's not double-sided, and that is a problem because it will mean that I don't quite have, and that won't be long. I don't think that's going to be long enough. No, that will not be long enough. Let us grab, let's see what we've got. We've got plenty of pieces of paper here. I just don't want to be starting a new piece if I can avoid it. Famous last words, that, isn't it? So let's, you see, these are all, it's a double-sided. There we are, that will work, that will work. There we are. Okie dokie. So the paper clips, the exact length depends on the size of your paper clip, but you need it to be approximately 4 times the length of your paper clip to plus a little bit. So my paper clip is 5 centimeters, so I need it 4 times that, which is 20, and I want a little bit of an overhang, so I'm going to cut it to 23, and the width is entirely up to you, but that's the best way of doing it. So I'm going to cut this, I think, to approximately, we're going to go to 3 centimeters or there around. So let's just pop that in there straight. Let's just cut that off out of the way. That can sit over there. There we are. And then you have to think what are you going to want on the outside, okay? Because the piece that's on the inside now will be the outside afterwards. and I need that as 23 centimeters, but here we are, we will do it comme ça, because you can then make these literally as long as you want. So there's my piece of paper folded, okay, comme ça. This piece can come up and over, and I haven't cut it long enough, but that's okay. So we'll do it the opposite way. We'll come up, there we are, always away. Easier to do it when you've got more room and a longer piece. You can change your mind as you want. So these are just 12-inch strips, and then I can chop bits off. Okay, so that seals that in there. Let's let that grab, because if you don't let it grab, it'll end up in trouble. Hello, Damika. Good evening, Blanche. Yeah, absolutely, Joan. I think sometimes you just have to, don't you? There we are. So we'll pop that over, and then we can just hold this while it grabs, because it needs to grab. There we are. So instead of having two, I'm just going to go 1, 2, and then I'm going to go 2. There we are. So on one side I've got the double, and I can pop it in like that, or I can pop it in, oops, so it can go in like that to close it, or as that's going to cover too much of that, I can pop those two pieces inside, and that can go there onto there, and then we can find something to pop onto there. And again, it doesn't have to be fancy, does it? You can do what you want then. So let's just add in a little bird, because we can, and you can put as much or as little on these pieces as you want, really, but it's just a cool way of being able to close a file folder without having to add masses of bulk, and it allows you to use your file folders as an additional pocket if that's what you choose to do. Now then, let's just now I know that was too big, so we're just gonna chop off a little bit. That it's the bird I really want. There we are. And then we'll just decorate it, so you can you can use do whatever you want to decorate your pieces. I'm not going to have it too uber fussy, because I think it's just going to make life difficult, but I might just add another strip of that so that this piece mirrors this piece. Let me just ink that, because it's going to work better, and then we can stick that onto there. Just pop that down, get rid of the extra glue, and then let's pop that onto there. So we've then added 2 file folders that are functional as little pieces, with 2 little paper clips that are completely hidden. So it's just a nice, as I say, just a little different, but a nice way of adding some interactivity to the piece without having to add magnets, because if whoever, it's all right if you're making it for yourself, isn't it? Let's just pop that over there so the birdie sits on there. That can fold over, so we've got a little birdie onto there, and that can be moved in and out as you want. So let me just move that down, because I've just realised we're off screen. So we've got a clip here that will help hold this closed, which we can pop down. You can put it anywhere you want. I just need it to be off the way of that folder. There we are, it is going to fold, which is good, and we've got that other paper clip holder there. So both of my file folders now are glued in. I've got an extra pocket if I want to have them, but they're not going to flip and flap around. So there we are. Let's just see what I've done for the next page. It's right, excellent, excellent. So we have, so we haven't got masses of pages on this side. We did lots of those the other day. So in fact on the back of this there's actually only 6 pages, I think. Still enough, as opposed to the 8 on the inside. But we've got the covers to do. So let's just take that, and we're going to pop that piece onto there, because why not? There we are. So could I have used some of these single, for these pieces I'm just popping down, could I have used these as my single sided papers? Absolutely, I could have done. There we are. Let's just pop that into there, onto there. There we are. Let's see what I did here. Oh, I've got a little book. Cool. So let's just add this one onto here, and we might be needing to get out some of our little magnets, and I've got my tape out today, so that's always helpful. There we are. We'll pop that onto there. There we are. Okay, there we are. So could I have cut that as a bit smaller piece? Yeah, undoubtedly I could have done. Right, excellent. So let's see what we have. Let's pop that over there. Right, eeny, meeny, miny. Why have I got that piece? There'll be a reason. Oh, good. So I decided to glue it all together. Well, that's an interesting concept. Right. So I've got a little book here. Let's just take all of those pieces out, because they're all, I think, approximately the same size, so that's okay. And at this point we can, I'm going to put, so I don't forget, my magnets in place, because I know what will happen. Or I could put a piece of string, but because I'm going to pop it onto that side, so let's just pop our magnets into place. You need to think about it whilst the going is good. So let us just take a little piece of red liner tape, approximately eyeball the centre of there, turn that over and approximately eyeball the centre of there. There we are. Let's flick that off, and let's grab a couple of magnets. Come on. So that is a magnet. Let's keep those safely on there. Let's turn that over. Get rid of the tape. Did you hear it click? Yeah. So that is now stuck together. I'm just going to stick another piece of tape over that for the time being, because that's cool. Okay, So that is our little accordion fold piece, and we've got lots of bits to go into here. And I clearly decided I wanted to do that for there. So let's just pop that onto here, and then we can add more washi tape as we want to, or not, because we've got lots of it. There we are. So it makes like this are just about being organised, thinking about what you want to do, using what you have, and then just going for it with a completely coordinated collection. You know the colours are going to work. Sorry Dee, can't do much about it. My net seems to be behaving. I do think it is a bit hit and miss, isn't it? So there we are, and then let's just pop that into there. I obviously decided at some point that was going to go onto something because it's got glue on it. So there we are. So let's just pop that into there, onto there. Okay. So we've got 2 pages for the inside. 1, 2, 3, 4. We might have too many pieces here, but hi ho. There we are. Why not? Why not? Indeed. We'll tackle each piece as it comes. I know, because I was going to glue. I might not have been choosing to glue it down when I cut the pieces, but that's okay. So this is when having single-sided papers really does make more sense, because if you're gluing it all in place, why would you want to have your double-sided papers? 1, 2, 3. There we are. Let's just pop that into there. So there we are. So when I do my lives, I do like to have a plan, and I do like to have things vaguely organised. I definitely am not a complete wing it person, though I don't make up something ahead of the lives nowadays. When I first started doing lives, every single piece that I did, I made one so I knew where I was going, and then I made another one on the live. So I then ended up with a ridiculous amount of projects. I get enough projects as it is, because because you do, don't you, when you're making for live. So there we are. Excuse me for coughing and spluttering. There we are. And how will I have used up all of my Brocante papers? No. Well, I've made a good indent into them, because when you're adding all of these extra pieces, it really does mount up quite quickly. It's surprising how much you'll get through. Don't ask me why to pop those around, it's just that's what I felt would work better. There we are. On one page we're going to keep complete. You see, it would help if you could glue in things straight, wouldn't it? Oh well. Right, it's obviously not going to be in straight. That piece is going to be in on the wonk. That will irritate, but hey ho, we can live with that. We'll just have to live with it, because that's all there is to it. There we are. That can go there, that can go there. There we are. So these are almost ATC size pieces, I think. Hi Debbie, welcome my darling, welcome, welcome. And I seem to think I might have some washi with lots of cutlery. If I can see what I've done with it. Let's just put the papers on the floor. Hey, we'll like it when a plan comes together. We'll tackle that horrendous mess in a minute, where I haven't quite stuck it in properly, but that's okay. We can deal with that. There we are. Because we've got lots of elements. We don't have lots of ephemera, and anyway, I think a lot of the ephemera pieces in this pack were quite big. I've got some bits left over, but they definitely all are bigger pieces. So there we are. So, do I want the words? Well, the words might be useful at some point, but I'm not going to pop them in at the moment. So, just while we have a little bit of fussy cutting, we've got a few of these that we might be adding. They say no bulk embellishments is the joy of the washi, because she says there we are. Lots of little words. I like words on things, but generally, let's just pop it over there so we don't lose it. But we're not going to necessarily stress today about words on things. There we are. Come on. Always ways around things, isn't there? If you think about it and don't panic, if something's gone a little bit wonky, you can nearly always rescue it with a little bit of adding. There we are. Let's pop that there. Why not make life difficult and go for the same, keep to the same theme all the way through. You can see how it's quite easy to look at a washi pad and think, oh, there's an awful lot of stuff on that. Will I ever use it all? But actually, if you start just adding little bits into your makes, it's surprising how much you will use relatively quickly. And the joy of this is that because it's translucent, the extra white border that I'm not being uberly careful about cutting out will largely disappear into the background. So that always makes life easier. There we are. And I'm going to put that up there. So, well, yeah, put it on the wall because that's really attractive, isn't it? There we are. Okie dokie. So we could add some words, but I'm not going to. Let's just get rid of whatever we've got onto there. Well, having said we're not going to add a word, let's just, we can just take that little word because it's there. Let's see if we can get that off without making folding it up too much. We will get there, honestly we will. There we are. I'm going to add that little word that says unique onto there. Okay. So that is our little concertina fold piece that's going to hold into there quite nicely. Now you can see why, because I know if I don't put my magnets in place early on, what will happen? I will probably forget. Oops, let's get rid of that. Don't want that on the inside, that will glue that together. There we are. And let's just pop that into there. Let's smooth that back into there. There we are. Now, as I say, I know I've gone a bit wonky donkey there, and that will irritate me. However, I have a nice large plate here. So let's do a bit of disguising. Because if I break the line up deliberately, then your eye will not be quite as drawn to the fact that we're on the wonk. And we're on the wonk on two ends, so that's cool, because obviously having started out with a rectangular piece, having popped it on, so let's just fold you in half, so we've got half and half. There we are. If I pop that right up onto that edge, at least I could get that one on straight, that would help. So if I get that smoothly onto that edge, that will just break that line up a little bit and mean that I'm less drawn to it. We're going to add another piece over the top of that because I can still see it. It's still going to irritate me because that's just the way the cookie rolls, but that's okay. So that piece can go onto there. Okay. And let's just layer. Because layering is good. If you cover the area, you know, even if it just helps break things up a little bit, if you just yeah. There we are. That's what happens when you're moving stuff around before things are fully dried. And the Polish girls just take a lot longer, bless them. Oh, very good. well, the weather at least has been nice. Hopefully that's encouraged a few people to come out and maybe to spend some of their pennies. There we are. Let's just add, wow. We are definitely having a day of wonky donks today. There we are. Well, that can stay on the wall. Well, there we are. If I wasn't on a live, what would I do? I'd probably peel it off and cut a new piece of paper, if I'm honest. But you don't have to, particularly if you've put down the last piece of paper that you have, because it's never when you haven't, you know, when you've got loads of paper, is it, that you suddenly find that you haven't got what you want. No, of course it's not. It's always when you're running to the last possible millimetre of your pieces. There we are. You deserve good things. There we are. So we have, let's just clear some of these bits because they're in the way, and it's going to just become too cluttered with gubbins if we're not very careful. Okay, so I think these are fairly simple pages. Yay! Because why not? Why not? Why not? Yay! Right. So we've got a nice piece of paper. There we are. That can go onto there. But before I stick that on, I'm just going to add in this piece. And I'm just going to corner around that because I did that on some of the other pieces. There we are. And this is a single-sided, so I can, what I'm going to do now, that is going to flap like that, okay? So the next thing to do is make sure that if you're adding a piece and it's got wording on it, that you actually check the orientation, because if you don't, you'll end up with a pickle. So you can always cover, just because something says it's double-sided or single-sided, you can always add, can't you? Yeah, you can always add. There we are. So you don't have to have you know, it's just an extra step when you're adding a flap. Good afternoon, Betty. So your clocks went back to your daylight savings time today, didn't they? So you're an hour earlier than normal. There we are. It says sweetie. No guesses as to what I had read that as, but sweetie was not what I read it as. It is perfectly safe to write it in the comments, but yeah, because of the ornate font, I definitely didn't read it as sweetie as I glanced through and thinking, well, I know I'm hot, and there we are. So we just add, come here, there we are. There we are. And that looks like it's deliberately smaller, because that's the art, is to deceive and to make people think that it was not a happy mistake. So we're just going to pop this piece because we can, approximately centralised in there, pop it down. So that's creating myself a little flap. Let's get this in place now so it is nicely positioned. There we are, rather than all over the place. There we are. You'll be glad to know that I'm just about caught up with my lives. I will be able to load this one with a custom head thumbnail probably tomorrow, which we'll add the pair of them at the same time, and then we'll put them as a playlist. So here we are, we've got a little flap that works quite nicely there. Right, now included in the extra pack is the little envelope with the cutout that we've got here. So let's just ink around the edges of here, pop this in. Ladies glow. Yeah, I know. Or if you're menopausal, we have tropical moments. There we are, that can go into there. Yeah. So this little folder comes in the collection with the other pockets that I've used. So it's it's a really nice collection and assortment of things in that packet, with lots of them to go from. So that's always quite nice, isn't it? When you've got lots of variation. So there we are. We can add a little bit of interest, because trying to cut out a piece to cover that would be like nightmare. Yeah, of course it would be a nightmare. There we are. Of course it would be a nightmare. Because, you know, so we're just going to decorate it, and that's, you know, again, one of the reasons why I use the inking through the stencil and the stamping throughout, is it just, sometimes you just need to think what's going to make your life more manageable. If you have a scan and cut or something like that, of course you can almost certainly just, you know, use that, can't you? But if you're averse to technology, aka me, there we are. Let's just pop let me just pop that one that way. There we are. And then let's get the other one. There's three of them. It's very inconsiderate when there's three of something, isn't it? Don't worry, we have a plan. We have a plan. Yeah, there are only three. There we are. So you could get one of those posh ceramic knife cutters that, to be fair, they're not a silly price, but, you know, a pair of scissors will work. Don't need to buy a posh fancy cutter just because you can. There we are. Let's just pop that one onto there. So that's the top of that, got with a little bit of extra detail, which is quite nice, I think. And let's add something to the bottom of that. So let's just see what we have. What we have. Do That's the other page of the washi, but I don't want to add that. Let's just take that. Let's just chop along the top of there. Get rid of most of it. There we are. Don't chop off the ends of it. That will go because that can go around underneath. There we are. We're still on the, I don't want to add bulk to this because we've got enough bulk in the whole thing as it is. Come on. There we are. Oh no, that didn't split nicely. That's the back of the paper. That wasn't quite what we wanted to do. So let us pop this up, let's eyeball that approximately into the centre. Have it on the wall because that just seems like that's the way of the world today. And let's just glue this into place. There we are. So we've used one of everything that's in the collection of the bits in the folio packets and the add-ons. There we are. And then I cut a piece of cardstock. Okay, it's a single-sided, it could be double-sided. I'm going to leave it single-sided because that's just going to make my life easier. But again, we can just add some extra detail into here. It doesn't have to be uber precise, just means that it's not completely naked, if that makes sense. And I'm not going to pop rub-ons into here because there we are, that will work. So let's just ink the edges of that on the outside. So we've got a piece that vaguely looks quite nice now. There we are. And when I was cutting this, I cut this little piece that I've done as a card quite carefully, so that I had the bird that will peek out, so it goes in there and I can grab it to get in and out. So that sort of made sense to my brain. So now we have some covers to do, and as we've already got them icky mucky, we'll just icky mucky them up completely, because my bad for having worked on a mucky desk, a lot of that's going to get covered, so do not fret. There we are. Make sure though your pieces are up the right way. Right, eeny meeny miny. Now the canvas itself comes with this piece of thread, and I need a piece for each side. You could just wrap it all the way around, but I don't want to. And I think if it's halved, no. So when I halve it, it's not going to be long enough for tying inconsiderately. So I've just got a piece of, hoping that's a longer length of ribbon. Maybe that's wishful thinking. Yeah, it is longer, not by a lot, but that extra bit will make a big difference. So I'm just going to chop that off, and I'm going to chop that in two. So I've got 4 pieces. Okay, 2 and 2. And we are going to pop piece. We're going to be adding glue anyway, so that's okay. and we're going to be adding extras to this. So let's just pop that there and that there. So that's just a piece of ribbon, you know, it could be any piece of ribbon that you happen to have in your stash. Doesn't have to be fancy. I think, if I'm honest, I think these pieces came in a Stamperia pizza box that I was lucky enough to get, and they're offering pizza boxes again. Okie dokie. So let's flip that over. We're still up the right way. So I think they're asking people to post pictures of something they've made with a rose in dedication to their mother, I think, is what the competition. And last time they did this, they had 5 pizza boxes. I think it was 5 anyway. I'm not affiliated with them, but you know, you might as well have a go, can't you? You know, who's going to say no to the potential to win some? There we are. So that and that can go over there. Right, excellent. Let's just turn that back over. So that's the back. So this is the front. Okay, so what else have we got lurking? Wow, well. Let's just grab the pieces. Okay, so I have some pieces of paper that we've prepped, which is why I wasn't overly worried about the mess, because I knew that we were going to be covering lots of it. But we'll have a nice little book shortly. Waste not, want not. And I haven't scuffled edges at all, so I'm not going to start doing that now. There we are, and you'd be none the wiser. And that can glue into there. Okay. And I'm not going to have this uber dimensional because that's not what I feel like. So let's just add another piece. And okay. There we are. So that's another 1/2 centimetre smaller. Okay. And then we've got some tags. These are from the double-sided papers, but they do exist in the singers. What do people? Yeah, you can. I think that you might find that That's Crafty have a pack that will work for doing that. There we are. We're going to pop that away. Yeah. There we are. Okay. So we're going to keep this reasonably simple, but we're still going to have interest. There we are. That one can go there. So that little tag can go there. We might have fun in a minute, because we're going to have to turn it over to do the other side. We might have to do a little bit of patience. There we are, that can go there. And I'm going to deliberately pop that across those words. And we've got a little clock. These are wooden pieces. Okay. Because we continue on the mission to use up stuff. There we are. Okay. So that, without knocking that lot flying, let's just turn that over. You see, we've managed to tear that already, so let's stick that down. That will glue into there. And then we're going to keep the back in a similar vein. So we've got another piece of paper that we're just going to ink. Onto that. So this is the back, the front cover. I think, yeah, front cover. Yeah, it was a cover piece or something. Let's just pop that onto there, and that will sandwich that ribbon nicely in, because that's the name of the game, and that will just help to keep it a little bit more secure. There we are. We've actually not got too much of a mess around us today. She says famous last words. There we are. There we are. Whoops, she says, did I wobble that? Fortunately not. So let's just pop that onto here. Yeah. So next weekend I am away teaching, so there will not be a live stream on Friday or Sunday, but I don't have one for Pentar either. This piece I've just literally cut from, I took my tag, traced around it and chucked it out because I didn't have another one that I wanted to use. So that's, yeah, again, use what you have. Nothing wrong with being a little bit creative. There we are. But I might well go live at some point else in the week. So you'll just watch my page. Life is a bit stressful at home at the moment because of hubby's health. There we are. And I have a piece of ephemera. Remember I said that I thought quite a lot of them were too big. So let me get the backing off that. And I'm actually just going to have him poking out so it doesn't matter. We're just going to chop him out, chop his head. Let me just have a, there we are. That's where we want him, just poking his way out. Let's just ink the edges of that because that will work. And then we've got the other tag. To pop onto there. And we have the word Brocante, which we're going to move over just a little bit. And this is another wooden piece. Okay. Yeah. So, eeny meeny, let's just get rid of some of this gubbins because we've got a reasonable amount of it lurking around. Let's see if I can find my computer mouse, and there we are. That's going to move nicely for me. That's always a good starting point. Let me click onto there so that becomes visible so we can see what we're up to, and then Facebook can catch up with me because it always takes a little bit. What have we got? We have lots of other bits and pieces that we can carry on adding to. I've got those little words. I've got some blank areas, so that's why not? Why not? This one says wonderful. So I can carry on adding all sorts to this till the cows come home. You see. and when it's a pain in the arse, I will, because the paper backing has split, making it even harder to get the bit that one off the top. Yeah. Aha. You just need to grab. So there we are. We'll just add that little word wonderful there. Let's just take that bit. These are just bits that if I don't use them now, I will absolutely just chuck in the bin, because they'll get picked up with the mess. I know that that's what will happen. So as they're on the desk, it seems sensible to utilise them. There we are. There we are. And I don't want to use that, so that can go over there. Okay, so ladies, I might pull up live in the week. On the other hand, I might not. But as I say, I'm away teaching next weekend, so that's not going, so I won't be able to go live then anyway. But watch out, there might be some little reels from the projects that my projects are made. Liz's, I think, are on the way. So I've now got enough ribbon, once those are dry, to sit that together, and I've got my book. Yeah, I've got everything up the right way. So that did move. Let me just, while that is safe, that is safe. There we are. So we have now got a chunky folio. I'm not going to knot that now because it's still quite wet, and it won't help keeping everything in place. So ladies, that is all we need to do for today. Watch my page. I think we've seen how we can embellish pre-made journal inserts, add some hidden paperclip embellishments in, and added lots of places, so you can pop lots of things into it, and it's just a great way of enjoying using what you have. And yeah, between the fact that I did my live last week and this week, it's taken me approximately 3 hours plus a little bit of thinking time. It's a whole day's class really, if that's the way you want to think of it, but it's absolutely worth the fun of doing it. And for if you went off to do a whole day class, it would probably cost, well, the ones with Anthony's will cost you £95 for a half a day, or maybe 3/4 of a day. The cost, they're relatively cost effective, because the base pieces have cost around £20 plus the papers, and use what you have in your stash. As I say, please ladies, enjoy whatever you have planned. Let's hope this wonderful weather continues, though I'm not too sure that from our weather forecast that's what's going to happen. And in the meantime, please stay safe with whatever you're doing.